What's going on, guys? Here actually at home and doing a product shoot, and I wanted to just quickly showcase the setup we have just in the dining room. Essentially I'm going with 3 lights here. The products do have to be shot on against a white background, which kind of it had some challenges, and in addition to that, the nature of the products themselves being the bottles that they're in, the black bottles, really shiny and reflective. So that definitely also presented a ton of challenges along the way, because the idea is get the cleanest photograph possible with as few reflections as possible. So a lot of different things come into play in terms of the positioning of the lights, the environment just in general. So what I did here is I'm utilizing the 2 bigger strobes in the background and just putting some bigger modifiers on them given the size of the set, and that's pretty much blasting into the white paper. It's going to white that out for us, and to light the actual products themselves, I decided to go with a smaller light source because we were just getting way too many reflections using the larger modifiers, no matter where we positioned it. So basically this, using the small 8200, allows me to go a little bit more precise, and then I can get higher away from the products. I found is kind of the trick here. So being able to raise this light up, come down at a really tight angle, straight down. At the same time, what I did is I positioned it so that the bulk of the light was kind of hitting this front area, because I did want to also make sure that that was pure white as well. These lights in the back are taking care of pretty much everything else in terms of whiting out the scene, but I was left with a strip here in front that was not pure white. So that's what this light's doing. It's hitting mostly here direct, and then I'm also getting some of the fall off or edge of that light to highlight the actual products. And ultimately what we end up with, I had taken the picture earlier, but what we do end up with is something very clean, and honestly, like, there are still going to be reflections here, little areas where the light is kind of showing up in the products, but I'm much more comfortable kind of fixing that in post than the version that I had where the modifiers were kind of the key light. So that's it's challenging. Number one, doing products, it's not my favorite thing to do, but it's extra challenging when you start adding in reflective products and specifics like the white background, and then it can get a little tricky. It takes a little time. That's why I decided to bring all my stuff home, and I can kind of take my time, think through this a little bit, and finally come away with kind of the solution there. So it's you could probably pull this off with smaller lights, being that it's just a small kind of area that you're working in. I'm sure that you could kind of pull that off, but this is what worked for us in this case. And now I'm able to move around the products, do different combinations, and as long as everything's kind of staying in that exact area, I'm going to be fine. Another challenging part, again, the bottles themselves are rounded, and so the reason why I hadn't pushed these products back further, closer to the back side of the paper, was because I was actually picking up the white foreground in the actual bottle of the product. So to kind of eliminate that, what I had to do is kind of bring it to the edge of my work surface. So I guess ideally if I had like a 6-inch work surface, I could have pushed it closer to the backdrop and then maybe gotten away with just using 1 light, or maybe just 2. But so that was the tricky part. So in addition to getting rid of the reflections, was also getting down low enough and bringing the products closer to the edge so that I can closely look at what exactly was reflecting back into those bottles. Another thing I noticed I could have done is perhaps behind me with the windows. Although I was shooting at a f11 or f10, I was still getting a little hint of the light coming from the windows behind me. So if I wanted to, I could hang up like a black card or a black sheet or anything like that, just to kill any other possible sources of light. But in all likelihood, I'll just kind of play with the blacks a little bit in camera raw, and I'll probably be able to get rid of that fairly quickly. But yeah, again, it's not our most favorite thing to do. I like working with people, but it was a good challenge, and you know, it's good to kind of put your brain to use trying to overcome problems that you don't kind of come across every day. So hope it was helpful to, you know, be walked through our setup and, you know, kind of what worked for us. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to help out. All right, thanks guys.